Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we have NXT. As you know, we come off after a 2 week Great American Bash. As you know, we have some title changes, some titles that haven't been changed. But however, what is the aftermath going to be like? Well, as you know, All Ego Ethan Page is still the NXT champion, but the real question is who will be his next challenger? Well, there's plenty of them. And then, of course, we have a very interesting three title defenses. We have the NXT Heritage Cup defended, the North American Championship defended, and of course, the main event features the NXT Tag Team titles. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing two shows in the single day by none other than Stardom. As you know, they started their annual round robin tournament, the 5-star Grand Prix. They head for, of course, called Utsunomiya for two shows in one day, a day and an evening show. The day show will feature, of course, blocks, the Blue Star B block and the A block as well. And then the evening show has the Red Stars A block and B block. So we will see how that rolls up. And then, of course, we actually will have some news updates that tell you what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, booked, what matches are set, including some developments, of course, are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can either put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do the real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, do the Nagasaki Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introduction is set aside. It's time to hit the hay. Well, not to hit the hay, but get this show on the road. Now, as you know, we began already with the round robin tournament from Stardom with 5-star Grand Prix. We're going to do the, of course, the 2-show in 1-day event, and we're going to get started. And let's do that right now. Okay, Stardom, the 5-star Grand Prix. As you know, we just begun, and this is the day show that they did on the 12th of August, and it was in Utsunomiya. Now, it opened up with, of course, a contract signing for the future belt that will take place on the 31st. Now, remember, Reno right now is tied with her sister Hana, and she is determined to, of course, break her big sister's record. However, her twin sister Hina, who's been determined to make a play for the future belt, as you know, has got the opportunity when she pinned her recently. However, Rena believes that she's going to retain the belt and prove once again why she is far more superior than her twin sister. Well, we'll see about that until that day we cross that bridge. Now, our first match, this is a non-title match. No, a non-tournament match, my bad. So we have a four-way. We have Rina versus Miyu Amasaki, Momo Kogo, and Waka Tsukiyama. Of course, there was some good moments happening with Waka and all that stuff. We've been seeing it. But however, as you know, only two out of these wrestlers are not involved in the tournament. We know two of them are getting a bit of a warm up before they could press on their tournament duties. But it was Miyu Amasaki with the Tenzai onto Momokogo and allowing her to pick up the win. Now let's jump into the tournament matches. We had the Blue Stars A block. We have Anna Jay versus Starlight Kid. Now remember, Anna Jay did had an impressive opening when she defeated, of course, Utsunomiya. But however, she's facing someone a little bit more different. But the real question I ask, did Anna Jay study her moves? Well, I would say that it might have been a very difficult challenge for Starlight Kid since she has never wrestled her before. But somehow Starlight Kid was able to overcome her by putting her in the black leg tiger killer. And just like that, it was over. So, giving her, of course, Starlight Kid her first 2 points. We move on from there. Now, we go to the Blue Stars B block. We have Saki Kashima versus Zuzu Suzuki. Now, you guys know Saki. She is the kind of person who, recently, as you know, she's been promoting Pachinko recently, and this cost her first match. But she tried it again, and she decided not to face Zuzu, so she tried to run away, as always. I mean, she does not run away from hate. That it's obviously, but with Zuzu, she tried. But unfortunately, Kashima, we know how smart and very crafty she can be when she tries to find ways to escape. She tried to put the Kishikase, but it was countered by Zuzu, allowing her to pick up her first 2 points. As you know, in her first match, it was a tie or no double count out, but she gets 3 points. As for, of course, Kashima, still at 0. Now we jump in with the Blue Star A block. We have Xena versus Koguma. Now, of course, you would think that Koguma, as you know, she will try to get Xena to do the bear dance. You think Xena is going to play that kind of game? Well, no, she is determined to win. That's the biggest thing. But however, she was able to defeat her by applying the Thunderstruck, giving her her first 2 points. Next up, we got the Blue Star B block. We have Tekla versus Saya Kamitani. Now, of course, these two ladies are part of the faction hate. Now, I don't think it matters who's going to walk out because either A, they could cheat on each other, or 2, they will beat the crap out of each other, however you want to see it. So I think it didn't matter how it is because most fans who don't like the faction hate, they will probably say, who effing cares? But nonetheless, they did not hold back. They did not hold any punches. But it was Kamitani who picked up the win with a Star Crusher, I believe. And just like that, she gets her next 2 points with the total of 4, while Tekla remains at 0. Now to the Blue Star A block, we have, of course, Shuri versus Sayuri Onoi. So I think this was a very interesting matchup. Now we know that Shuri, she is a very strong, capable wrestler, not to mention with excellent kick strikes and of course submission. But Sayuri Onoi, as you know, she's very crafty and she knows exactly what she's doing. So she was able to pick up the win when she applied a pottering onto Shuri, and just like that, she finally gets her first 2 points. Now remember, she lost recently to Anna Jay, but she was able to pick up the win. So good for her. Now our main event, this is a very interesting one. We have Risa Sera versus Hanan for the Blue Star B block. I was pretty much impressed by Hanan. I know a lot of people have praised her a lot. She had some pretty good matches. I mean, many people have often say she is the future ace of Stardom, which is obviously coming up to fruition. Not to mention she did pick up a good win against Tam. But however, she has to face against someone who's far more dangerous. But I didn't know how she was going to deal with it, but she dealt with it. And she picked up a fantastic win with, of course, applying the 17, and just like that, it was over. Um, I think Risa Serra is still at 0. I didn't write down the points, but I'll figure it out at some other point. But I think I have to say it's a pretty good, impressive day, but we'll see how we progress down the line. But right now, let's move on to the evening show. Okay, as we continue with more of Stardom in the 5-star Grand Prix in Utsunomiya, we are now doing the evening show. Now, this is the Red Star blocks A and B. Now, let's begin with a bit of a mixture. Now, we have the Red Star A block. We have Yuna Mizumori versus Natsupoi. Now, this is not the first time those two have tangled with each other. If you guys remember last year, when Yuna Mizumori was intending to enter as a member of Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi played one of the parts as one of the exams of sorts for her to join. And now this is the real deal. Now, of course, this is Yuna Mizumori's first ever 5-star Grand Prix participation. Now she faces against her own teammate. And I have to say, it was a pretty good opener because we have seen how strong and capable and powerful Yuna Mizumori is. And we know how resilient Natsuko can get herself too. But my god, that match was very oppressive. But unfortunately, it was, of course, Natsupoi with the fairy brink, or that's what she calls it. She was able to defeat, of course, Yuna Mizumori. I'm sure Natsupoi is proud of her being strong as she is, and she knows that no doubt she will be a champion soon. So, we're going to see how powerful she'll become, and we'll stay close to Yuna Mizumori's progress. Now, let's jump in with the Red Star B block. We have Tomoka Inaba versus Azumi. So that's going to be one crazy match. Now, of course, we know Tomoka. She does have a background of karate. Azumi, we know her reputation. You know, she's one of the OGs as well. But I was impressed by this match. And nonetheless, I was very, very impressed with it. But however, this match ended in a time limit draw. So basically, it ended in a no, not time limit draw. Not bad. Double count out after what? 12 minutes and 47 seconds. So each of them gets 2 points. So the total points these ladies have, we have 4. Now, I forgot to mention this with Mizumori and Natsupoi. Natsupoi has 2 points, while Mizumori has 4 points, while Yuna has 0. So we'll keep continuing on. Now, let's jump in with the Red Star A. We have Konami versus Azuki. Of course, these two ladies are no strangers to each other. We know they have bumped into each other over time. And of course, if you guys remember clearly, they actually knew each other from the time when they were Queen's Quest until Azuki got picked up by Oedo Tai at the time. But however, of course, Konami was going to play dirty. She actually did that by applying the spray can on her face by turning it black, and then a knee strike on her face, giving her 4 points. And of course, Azuki also ended up in 4 points. Now we do have a non-tournament match. We have Godzai, Lady C versus Hina versus Hate, consistent of Rina and Natsuko Tora. Now, of course, who would have think? You know how aggressive Hate was going to be. They're going to beat the crap out of Lady C and Hina as always. But the bigger icing on the cake, it was Hina once again who pinned her twin sister with out of nowhere. And I don't know if this is a sign where, of course, we will see Hina finally become the future belt champion. But during the post-match, I'm sure Rina believes that she's not going to win this belt. She's going to retain it because her primary goal is to break her older sister's record, Hana's record. But we'll see how that rolls up. Now let's jump in with the Red Star A block. We have Momo Watanabe versus Mei Sina. Now, of course, Momo has not had any good luck in this tournament so far. But I have to say, Mei Sina really was impressive in this tournament. She was able to pull off the win by applying the Rolling Star. And of course, Momo with her temper tantrum attacked her, and then she decided to say, nope, it's not Azumi's fault. She blames the person who put her in these matches, because I don't know if she thought it was going to be an easy task for her, but it did not. So basically, you can say she got screwed. Now, our next match, we got the Red Star B block. We have Raka versus Manami from Sendai. So basically, you would think this is going to be one crazy match. Of course, Ruka was going to use ways to cheat, but nothing worked. This entire match was a total hoss fight, but at the same time, it ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. So basically, Raka does not have any points. Minami, I think Raka has probably 1 point, and I believe Minami has about maybe 4 points? Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Now, our main event, we have the Red Star B block. We have Saya Ida versus Tam Nakano. Now, remember, Tam did not have a good start of this. But the one thing that was really concerning in this match with Tam, don't forget, guys, her knee is the target. We know because we saw what Natsuko Tora did before the start of the tournament. Basically, Natsuko Tora showed everyone, especially those who will be competing against her, to target the knee. Mayu Iwatani even targeted knee. Basically, I think Natsuko Tora left the floodgate open. But the real question is, how will this affect Tam Nakano? I mean, she did hold on as possible until Saya Ida actually pulled off a pinfall, and just like that, she pulled off a major upset, gaining her first 2 points, and Tam remained at 0. I just hope Tam just finds a way to get back on top. I just hope if Scott Edwards is right, if he does believe that she's going to win this match, then it's going to be a difficult one, because her knee is the primary target. So we will see. But Tam did tell Saida she was glad that she lost to her, but she'll be coming for her for revenge for that loss. So we'll see how that rolls up. So I think that's pretty much it for this. Let's move on with NXT. Okay, NXT. As you know, we come off after a 2-week event with the Great American Bash. Let's see how the aftermath has begun. Now, as you know, Ethan Page retained his title against Oro Mensah. He comes out to do a promo claiming that the Ego era begins and that no one is out to take off his belt. He says that, of course, Trick Williams, the former champion, will have a hard time trying to get him champ, because we do know he does have a right to a rematch clause, but of course Ethan Page refuses to give him. And then Joe Hendry comes out and interrupts him. But he did tell him that he will be coming for NXT title, because he's going to still be sticking around. However, he was viciously attacked from behind by Wesley, who also seems that he is making a play for the NXT belt. But I think many of us would want to know, why did he did what he did, betraying Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel? But we'll get to that in a bit. Now, as you know, they're determining to find out who will be the next number one competitor to take on Roxanne Perez at No Mercy. So, there were certain people that were chosen. The first 3 were, in fact, Ren Sinclair, Andrea Rizzo, and Soruka. Now, there will be 3 others that were picked a little later. Now, our first match is the Heritage Cup. We have Charlie Dempsey versus Tony D'Angelo. Now, the first round ended up being with nobody winning, and then the second round, well, D'Angelo was able to pick up the win when he applied the forget about it, and just like that, he won the second round. Third round, of course, no one won it, went up to the time limit draw, and then, of course, fourth round, that one was won by Dempsey when he applied a somewhat of a jackknife, but it was effective. And then, of course, whoever wins the next round or the following one, of course, will pick up the win. But it was Dempsey who picked up the win on the 5th round, thanks to certain distractions that took place, of course, involving Stacks, Miles Bourne, and then, of course, Ren Sinclair decided to help Dempsey in order to pick up the win when he applied a butterfly suplex. And just like that, Dempsey has regained the NXT champion, the NXT Heritage Cup, back to where it originally belongs. So that's going to be an interesting thing to happen. Now, Kelani Jordan was having a little discussion with, of course, Lola Vice, but apparently she cannot avoid the fact she doesn't know how to get through Tatum Paxley, and of course we saw what happened last week. But Lola Vice decided to have a little chat with her but we'll see how that goes because they will be in the match a little later. Now, our next match, Eddie Thorpe versus Lexus King. Of course, you know, Lexus King, he likes to stir up the pot every single time because of his own benefit, saying that no one's better than him. As you know, he broke, of course, Eddie Thorpe's hand when he defeated him last time, but this time he used that into his advantage in this match and then applied the coronation. Now, he may have won this round, but I'm sure Eddie Thorpe will get his revenge against him once again. Now, Pete Dunne, as you know, did what he did against Trick Williams. He feels that his time with them is done, but Trick Williams is not. But, of course, Pete Williams has one thing on his mind, and that is, of course, the NXT Championship, a belt that he has never won before. Now, we did see, of course, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson talking about certain things, and then, of course, Fallon, Jay-Z Jane, and Jazz and Nix decided to, you know, get involved, to start up the pot too. As you know, once again, you know, they decided to stir things up, but we'll see what happens down the line. Our next match, we have Lola Vice versus Tatum Pixley. The match was going well, but however, Kalani Jordan decided to watch her in the commentary booth to see what's going on. But unbeknownst by Lola Vice, we did see Wendy Chu choked her out. And Lola's unaware, but however, it was, of course, the back fist by Lola Vice to Tatum Pixley that picks up the win. But the real question is, what in the world is going on? So, we'll see what happens. Now, Carmen Petrovic is amongst the few that were chosen to join, of course, the next round of girls in that number one contendership. However, she and Brindley Reese, Brindley, as you know, was chosen. Izzy Dame feels disappointed that she did not pick, but she decided to complain and bitch. Even Brindley said, I know I didn't join, but you don't see me being all pissed about it. So basically, that's how it goes. Now, Wesley, as you know, we saw what happened last week. He betrayed Zach and Trey. The real question is why? Of course, the honesty is Zach was gone. He was all alone. Over the years, he felt that he's always been like his babysitter, guardian, that sort of thing. So he felt like his enough is enough. But he did stated that he will take on Zach at No Mercy. And then once he's done, he will make his play for the NXT Championship. But Pete Dunne had something to say, but they were interrupted by Joe Hendry. You know, so it all went up to hell just like that. But the real question is who will be involved. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Now, during an interview with Frazier and Axiom, as you know, they will be in the main event to take on Chase Hughes, Rich Holland, and of course, Professor Chase. But however, of course, Axiom and Frazier admit, yes, they are somewhat in. They can have their disagreements even if they're not on the same. But they were able to find success. But we'll see how that goes. Now, D'Angelo was about to make some announcement until Obafemi interrupted because that's what happened last week. But this time Obafemi decided, you know, I'll do the same thing because, as you know, Obafemi has an open challenge that was later accepted. Now let's jump into that match. The North American title was defended against Otis. I have to say it was a pretty good match, a hoss fight. Even though you can see the size differential, they're big dudes, strong, powerful, but it's the height that became the bigger factor. But also, the weight could be another factor that you can collaborate on this one. But I was amazed with Obafemi was able to put Otis in a powerbomb, and just like that, it was over. Now, we all saw what happened with Brooks Jensen. As you know, he's been manipulated by Spears and all this. So, he apparently, of course, Brooks Jensen still has his issues towards Josh Briggs, who currently is right now in Japan. But I'm sure that their little feud will resume once Briggs is done in Japan. Malik Blade and Efren Edris Enofe were concerned over the fact what's going on. Of course, later Hank and Tank respected. Well, Hank kind of respects Blade and Enofe, how they feel about Josh. And of course, Tank shows up, tells them that next week they will deal with the OC after they ruined their little barbecue together at the last week's Great American Bash. So that's going to be interesting. Now, Izzy Dame versus Brindley Reese. This was coming out knowing that these two will not participate in that number one contendership match. But it was Izzy Dame that picked up the win. I thought it was a pretty good match for Brindley Reese, but Izzy was the far more better wrestler. Now, during an interview with Kelly Kincaid, Ava gave announcements that, of course, next week there will be a number one a women's gauntlet match at No Mercy. So basically, whoever's going to be challenging, you know, against Roxanne Perez, and then there's of course the number one contender in a three-way match between Hendry, Wesley, and Dunn. And then Roxanne Perez, as you know, she is saying that you can send anyone, but no one's going to take the belt. I'm sure everybody are hoping that it's going to be Julia or Stephanie Vakir to do that. Roxanne believes that none of them are on the same level as her, but we will see. Now, our main event, NXT Tag Team Championship. I thought this match was unbelievably good. I mean, it was awesome. I love it. It was pretty impressive. Now, we hardly see Rich Holland as a wrestler who he teams up with the most, but seeing how he was pulling himself together, I thought it was amazing. It told a story that he kept his promise and he wasn't going to back down from it, and he was able to pick up a fantastic win. But the way it happened, Andre Chase pushed away Frazier, then Axiom applied the ratio to take out Andre Chase, but it was Rich Holland that put away Axiom with his move, and then just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new NXT Tag Team Champions. This puts, of course, Chase U back on the map, and I thought it was a fantastic story. So we'll see how this progresses next week. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that, of course, Axiom and Frazier will have a rematch, but we will see what happens until then. But until now, let's just end things with, of course, NXT and move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you. So let's begin with the upcoming events from the promotions. Now, majority on this section is coming from GCW. Now, as you know, on the 17th of August, which is this Saturday, GCW will be in LA for the No Signal in the Hills. The GCW World Tag Team titles will be defended. Violence is Forever takes on Wolf Zaddies, was consistent of Bad Dude Tito and Chi Cabrera, I think that's his name. But yes, now 2 matches were announced for the following day on the 18th of August in Salt Lake City for Save Me. One called Manders will take on Broski Jimmy, and then we have Bussy in action to take on Gino and Ocean. And then, of course, we got the homecoming event in Atlantic City on the 24th, which is night 1. It was announced that the Kirks, consisting of Casey Cattell and her husband Brandon Kirk, will be in action to take on Los Macizos. And then, of course, it was announced that Galeno del Mal, the brother of Dr. Wagner Jr., hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., should I add, will be participating in both shows in Atlantic City. Now, it's still unclear what match it's going to be, if it's going to be singles match, tag team action, that is still unclear, but I'm looking forward to hear what's the answer to that. Now, finally, we have the NWA 76 event taking place on the 31st of this month of August. As you know, we continue to add more the Burke Invitational Gauntlet. They just added Kylie Page, the sister of the current NWA Women's World Champion Kenzie Page. So yeah, little sister will be joining the gauntlet. Now let's jump in with some developments. Now, WWE has revealed on Fightful Select, it was revealed by WWE that 2 new coaches have been added on the list on the webpage. We have Christopher Gerard, better known as Orny Lorcan, and Corey Winston, formerly known as Wesley Blake. They are now official coaches at the WWE Performance Center. Now, this is a very interesting story that came around involving Tommy Billington, better known as the Dynamite Kid, the nephew of the late Dynamite Kid. Now, if you guys remembered, his debut match was against Dax Harwood. Now, Dax Harwood revealed that when he talked to him, that he was going to get him a job in AEW. Well, it seems that he signed a contract. Now, it's still unclear whether it's a full-time membership or just per appearances. That's the thing that we don't know. However, the following day after this, when this was mentioned, it was told that WWE called some people that are in Tony and Tommy Billington's side, his people, asking him if he was interested in going to WWE. Well, or had an interest, however you want to call it. Well, apparently they told him that he's already signed with AEW. So basically, it's a day too late. Now, it's no secret that WWE has been using AEW as a way to scout talent that are not officially signed with AEW. Well, I have to say this one was a very interesting one because they were a day too late. So basically, they should have known this one's going to happen, but they didn't. Now, our final development here that we've been hearing, as you may have heard about Penta Miedo, apparently, as you know, reports were coming in about Penta Miedo making his way to WWE. Well, he's saying, put this, that my present is AEW. So we don't know if that means he's going to stay, but it seems like he is making it clear. But it appears that there's been some fake news. Now, I don't want to compare this to, of course, the political thing with, what's been going on. Now, the old saying goes, you want to hear from the horse's mouth. Now, apparently there was a news report that indicated that Penta Miedo was in Orlando recently. However, it was not specified entirely that he was at the Performance Center. People speculated that he went to the Performance Center. Now, let me use this as an analogy. Let's say, for the non-wrestling fanatics, when you think of Orlando, what do you think of? I'll tell you if I was as a plain old non-wrestling fan. When I think of Orlando, I think of two things: Disney World and SeaWorld. Yes, I have SeaWorld passes. Now, I know I may have some people who are not big fans of that, so don't take away my happy thing, okay, guys? Just making it a very clear point. So that's what you think. Now, for wrestling fans in general, when you think of Orlando, you think of one thing: the Performance Center. So the obvious thing is, Penta was in Orlando, but they never specified if he was at the Performance Center. That is something that we don't know. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, there could be another promotion out there, or he was visiting friends. We don't know, but there's that. However, Penta did stated that he does not want this to be making this as a problem for his brother Phoenix, who is generally on its way out. But, however, they're not entirely trying to jump into the bandwagon once they're still under contract. Remember, they're still under contract right now until it expires with AEW. So basically, they're playing the smarter game. But the real question is, some people are saying that Penta may be staying. That's the thing we've been hearing. Now, I would like to say maybe, hopefully, that's the case. But we do know that WWE does have a keen interest. So basically, someone has been spreading word that certain facts that are not being straight, and of course, Penta is not happy about it. I don't blame him. I mean, look, guys, we know that sometimes when people like Wrestling Observer, Fightful Select, PW Insider, which half the times will get their accuracy, wrestler purists, some of those type of new wrestling news outlets, they will try to get their information as accurate as possible. So I think that's the thing that we've been hearing. So until then, we will see what happens with Penta, if he will make his way. But as of right now, I think it's time to end things with our news updates. And of course, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have, of course, AEW Dynamite. It's going to be one heck of an event. We do know that Hikaru Shida will be facing against Mercedes Moné. We got plenty other matches taking place as well. Haven't decided yet what we're going to do, but I do think we have another G1 Climax event, and this time we're going to find out who will be the top 3 in the B block. So I think that AEW and New Japan are the top priority as we speak. But as of right now, we'll end things as it is right here and move forward. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.